here at Xenu TV, covering all of TGAC and this greater sector of the galaxy. And I am very thrilled tonight to have as a guest, Oh No Nora. How are you?
Hey! Oh my goodness.
It's nice to see you.
This has been a long time coming, Mark. I don't think we've ever, I think I met you a couple, like maybe once in real life, like forever ago, but we've never actually done anything like this. So I'm super excited.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about this issue, except I saw you mentioning when I was playing some video of Buddy the other night, the guy who was horribly hurt from me going bump into him, and
oh my God,
now I got a permanent limp.
What? So, that's not true, but yeah.
Yeah, and you popped up with his real name, and you worked in the security detail at this time, right?
No, I wasn't in security at the time. I was a word clearer at the time. So your original video there, that's from 96 or 90, the first one that I commented on.
99.
99. Okay. So I was word clearing in the, like, if you're looking at the Rose Garden and you're at the little door that's there where you can go in supposedly from the street. If you were to look directly up at the second floor, that was like my window. Like I could look out and see the Rose Garden and like across the street to where La Poubelle and the improv place, Citizens Upright Citizens Brigade, and you could see Gelson. So I would sometimes just like take a minute and stare at like nature.
Well, lucky you having a window.
Right. Yeah. My desk was like right in front of that. It was mostly so that when I was word clearing people, they could see the nature. My back was to it.
I see.
Yeah. It wasn't for me.
In the 4 years that I had an office in our city hall here in Clearwater, no windows.
Right.
So I envy you.
Yeah. I worked at in a city office once, and there's not a lot of windows. It's kind of very drab. It's very office space. Like in most city offices, it's just cubicles and
and especially the place we were in, because we were just renting 2 floors in an office tower as we had abandoned the old city hall. And thank God we approved a new city hall to start construction this year, just in time, because Moises Ogami, Scientologist in Clearwater, purchased the building that City Hall was in.
Oh my God.
The day after I was out of office.
It's so ridiculous to me that people are not like understanding the depths of this real estate scam that Scientology is running. I mean, it is, and I've tried to explain it to people. Really, they've had nothing to do with Scientology. Like, you've been very involved in Scientology now for a couple decades, which is amazing. And you've done a lot of good work. You've brought, the work you did in regards to the Lisa McPherson situation, everything else was, you were like Scientology's #1 enemy for a long time. Mike Rinder and the gang hated you so bad. Like your name was synonymous with like evil, like the fruits of the devil, evil. Because also, like, let's face it, like you were taking the piss out of them from the beginning with Xenu in the title and all of that other stuff. So automatically that puts you like in another stratosphere of people who were being suppressive,
That reminds me, I have license plates that I still have today that say Xenu TV.
I love it.
I used to park it on Watterson Street, which is the side street there that the Lisa McPherson Trust and OSA shared. So they, Xenu TV was out there every single day.
Yeah.
And I had to testify in court once.
Whoa.
And they produced a picture of my car and asked me if I could identify the car in the photo. And I said, well, I'm not sure, because the license plate has been erased from the photo here. It should say XENU TV for the court stenographer, Xenu TV. So I'm not sure if this is my car or not. Just to make sure I got that on the record.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
How petty that they do not want to enter anything into evidence that has the word Xenu in it.
No.
And they were
No,
going
they
through
don't.
emails too.
Yeah.
They were crossing out Xenu in any type of documents they presented.
Mhm. Well,
So you
because
got
they
to call
keep
them on it.
telling the people that are not OT3 that's not real. Like if you hear somebody talk about Xenu, that's not a real thing. It's not a real
Hmm.
dude. Don't worry about it. They're just making stuff up. They're making fun of L. Ron because he was a science
Wow.
fiction writer. It's like all these things so that when you get to it, you've already been security checked within an inch of your life. And
Hmm.
then you're like so committed. You've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars and then you find out about it. And then you're like, son of a bitch. Like it's just like, you know, like you can't even like my mom hates what she deems space opera. Like that is like if she watches a movie and it goes into like weird, she's like, click off, I'm leaving. So like when I was getting her out of Scientology and she finally like left, my sister and I confronted her and we were like, Mom, how did you keep a straight face during OT3? How did you not like burn the courtroom down? And she's like, well, I just ignored that part of it and then, just concentrated on the auditing. This woman can pick and like just, it's like some Christians just
Sure.
cherry pick like one piece of a, verse and then they're like, that's fine. But the rest of it
Sure.
is,
Absolutely.
But you can't do that in Scientology. It's all or nothing.
Right. It's the
Yeah.
cold, stark reality of the last billion years. So yeah, you
Yeah.
can't ignore that.
No.
But I wonder what's the thought process when you've been told leading up to this, oh, that's a
Mhm.
lie. That's a lie. And then it's handed to you.
Because you're in a cult. You're in a cult.
Yeah.
So everything that L. Ron says is truth. So you could just be like, oh, they were keeping the secret. Like now I'm the keeper of the secret. Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, that those people are probably all have cancer and they're dead now because they didn't know what they were talking about. Because that's what they tell you. If you find out about Xenu, before you're able to confront that information, you will get cancer and die. Now, ironically, most people who have gone OT got cancer and died. So I don't understand that statistic.
Well, I think
I
that
don't
has
have
more
cancer.
to
I know
do.
the protesters don't. They're out there shouting about it.
I, I think that probably has more to do with the deadly asbestos on the free winds.
Well, the
You know,
free winds, also the entire pack base. And they've been
really.
slowly I removed some asbestos with no stuff when I was on the RPF. There's
Of
just
course.
asbestos everywhere there. I mean, it was a
Sure.
hospital from the 20s, right? It was a
Hmm.
hospital from the 20s, and we would just break stuff and repair it on our own with no legal permits or anything. Who needs
So back
permits?
in 2000,
Hmm.
we interviewed the Woodcraft family at the Lisa McPherson
Oh,
Trust.
okay.
Lawrence Woodcraft and his two daughters, who
Okay.
all got
Astra.
out. Mom
Yeah.
was,
Mhm.
yeah, Astra and Zoe.
Yeah.
And Lawrence told us in his interview that, he was, uh, oh, for God's sakes, architect. And
Mhm.
they called him in to do some different jobs, and
Right.
they had him look at the free winds, and he told them, "Oh, you got to stop all work here because this is deadly asbestos."
The blue asbestos,
And they
yeah.
came, yeah, they came back to him and said, "Oh no, well, L. Ron Hubbard says asbestos is fine. It's this other completely harmless thing that you have to worry about."
Right,
And
right.
so, work continued.
Well, yeah, and then they dumped it all in the Caribbean. They just literally made a toxic waste pile in the Caribbean. And it's just like, I mean, the things that Scientology has gotten away with over the years it's mind-boggling. I mean, some of which are in court cases and stuff now. Like somebody
Mhm.
asked me specifically, I was protesting, they asked me about um, Lisa McPherson. And I was like, "Oh, you mean the person that they held captive and she literally mummified inside the hotel room where they weren't letting her escape? And then they didn't take her to the local hospital that was literally right there. They drove her miles and miles and miles away because they didn't want to have a flap. That Lisa
Yeah.
McPherson is that who you're talking about?" Like, and the person was just like, like the fact that they weren't shut down after the evidence of what they did to her came out. She ran out of the building nude down the street, having a manic episode,
Yeah.
and was, taken in by proper authorities, by the ambulance to a hospital. She was getting treatment. And then all of a sudden, all these Scientologists show up and are her relatives and just get her out of the hospital. Like, what?
Well, we actually, oh, I'm sorry. We
Oh,
got
no,
to
go
meet
ahead.
some of those people.
Yeah.
Benetta Slaughter was
Mhm.
her boss. And Benetta was one of the people who went to the hospital to take
Yeah.
her out, along with Mary DeMoss, who became a beloved figure on
Wow.
Xenu TV, because she was the most in-your-face protester.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I always love seeing Mary, and we're going to get to a lot of Mary footage fairly soon on the channel here. We don't have any Mary tonight, but we've got other um,
Yeah. I mean, it's just
insane
yeah, and the stuff you've
encounters.
been able to document, Mark, is so valuable. Now to see it, you're like restoring it and putting it in 4K
Mhm.
for the year 2024. But yeah, it brings back a lot of memories to see these 90s vibes happening in 4K. It's really weird. And also to see
It,
Buddy, aka James Richardson, who, by the way, made an appearance recently at the Winter Wonderland, and everybody was like, "Who is this guy?" He was at the Winter
wow.
Wonderland in the face of protesters doing his old do. And I was like, that's James Richardson. He also showed up when the first protest with Liz Ferris and all them went down to CC.
Uh-huh.
He was out there causing problems, got one of the hired security by the girl from Nickelodeon, Alexis. She, helped organize the protest from Eat Predators. That's her channel. And she
Mhm.
hired a private security guard because she was like, I'm not messing with Scientology. These guys are cray. And they got her private security guard arrested because he had a concealed carry permit, but somebody was like, gun, and then, got him detained for like over an
Wow.
hour.
So he's still officially doing
Oh, yeah.
security
He's
to
still the
this day.
security chief CC, which is one of, you think about it and you think like, oh, that's not really that big a deal. But the two highest places you can be security at, your Celebrity Center and INT at the INT base, right? And
Yeah.
as you know, Jackson was the former security chief there at the INT base, so he can tell you
Yes.
like what went on
Yeah.
there and stuff.
I
But all the security
I
chiefs
sat
work
down and
together.
I interviewed Jackson,
Mm.
I don't know, around 2011 or so, and he had so many amazing stories to
Oh
tell.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
But like this whole thing where I try to tell protesters who are out in person, because of what happened to you, we were all trained to do that. What exactly went down? Oh, I'm not giving out a thumbs up. No thumbs up for James Richardson. What happened to you? We drilled every week on how to reenact what James did to you.
wow.
Every
And
week.
as a reminder, why don't we take a quick
Yeah.
look at what you were
the,
being
the
trained on?
the incident that almost killed James Richardson.
Let's see if I can pull this up here. Oh, buddy. Oop, I think I skipped ahead here by accident.
Partners
Oh, that's all right.
held me from walking away. They kept me in a little area for at least 10 seconds, and I said,
Let me roll it back here to the really nutty
but you
part.
did agree you bumped into me.
Yes.
I just bumped
I
into
walked
him.
slowly and bumped into you because you stopped.
You're a large man. That was a lot of weight into me.
Yes, I'm a giant behemoth that bowled you over, didn't I?
James
Knocked
is
you
a
to the
large man,
ground.
guys, if you didn't
Yeah,
know.
that was pretty impressive.
That's right. Why don't you just keep going?
Known as well, we don't have to, but
Okay.
it's GBB. It's grievous bodily.
Bumping. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But James just for the record is over 6 feet tall, about 210 pounds. He's a big guy. He was never a small guy. He always had kind of a little dad bod situation happening. But yeah, he was the security chief then. Now, two things I wanted to point out in your footage. Number one, he has his clear bracelet on because he had to like rock that. That was like right after he had tested to clear. Second thing is that in 1999, he states at some point in there that he's 27. His wife at that time, now 2 years earlier in 97, he married a 14-year-old when he was 25. This girl's parents, who I'm not going to name her because she's out and she's living her own life. She's a mom now. She has kids. She was 14 when he started pursuing her. He was 25. He pressured her parents as the security chief in his full security uniform, the whole thing. He pressured her mom and said, if you don't give your daughter permission to marry me, like basically she was going to get declared. He had daily meetings with her in the Rose Garden Cafe to pressure this young girl's mom into allowing him to have a child bride. Because that's totally okay in Scientology. It's totally normal for the pedos to just be pedoing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's an ancient being who's lived many lifetimes.
Right.
So.
She's just in a tiny body. And he was and he was the chief enactor of like making sure that, and it was only okay for men to do that, by the way, guys. If a woman was dating a much younger guy, no, grow. You're disgusting. Like, what do you have? Like, do you have pedo instincts? Like, the women would get sex checked if they were like, oh, that guy's kind of cute. But guys were like, and he was the guy who would be like, checking into you if you did anything wrong.
Is anybody still in contact with her?
The last time I talked to her was years ago before I got declared. So I don't know what her deal is, if she's
still in or
an active Scientologist. I really hope not. She was a sweet girl.
Yeah.
We did the Key to Life course together in LOC. We had
and
fun.
The laws have changed now so that you can go back and sue over things like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would, I mean, if I were her and she wasn't in Scientology, I would encourage her to, because he's disgusting. And I'm sure his newest, he has a track record of going after underage girls. There are many girls in the Sea Org that he dated that were like that. And so it's interesting, like now knowing what I know and like being not in that bubble, to see James like, do this whole acting thing with you that was like, oh, I'm having pain in my chest. And like, I have a limp. It's like, he basically went inside. We have staff meeting, like every Friday night. Like clockwork, from like when course ends at 10 o'clock, at 10:30, you go down for your staff meeting. And then Celebrity Center staff meetings were famous for going like 3 hours, which was a nightmare because Saturday you still had to show up for a post at like 7:30 for muster. So that was stupid. But he went in and he was like, oh yeah, the protesters, they were like surrounding me. And he like told this whole like short story of how he defeated you with his confront and his OT powers, and he was like in charge. Let me ask you a question. Do you have footage of a protest that was like across the street where La Poubelle and everything is, and then somebody in a KKK outfit came?
No.
Okay. That must have been you must have not been at that protest, because that's another trick he pulled. There was a group of people, I think it, maybe early anonymous kind of stuff. And they were protesting and they were like, they had megaphones and they were being real loud. So he went and bought like a Grand Wizard outfit and walked over there and joined the protest and was like, yeah, oh, they're horrible. And like, then the protesters were like, oh, no, we're not with this. No, not with this guy. No, thank you. And then that was like his thing. He's like, oh, I got them to leave right away because they didn't want to be with the KKK. He like showed off the thing at staff meeting. Like this was a brag that he had dressed up as a KKK Grand Wizard and dispersed protesters.
Well, in the 90s, a whole bunch of Scientologists were dressing up as Klan members to protest. I think it was the paper at that point. I'm always confused whether it's the paper or the police department they did that for.
Somewhere.
Either one, it's remarkable that they have no problem doing something like that.
No shame in attacking people who are protesting. I think that, like in comparison to what you went through versus what's happening now, the tactics really aren't different. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically the same stuff, except for they're not like, putting like the leaflets out about the false leaflets and stuff that they were like making about you and other people. And they were like trying to accuse people of being all kinds of things and then just like plastering their neighborhood with that. Because,
So I found out Dan Mernon, who was one of the two people who came to protest at my house in the revenge picket. He now lives about 10 blocks away from me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was thinking I should leaflet his neighborhood, but I would do it in a much nicer way. I would, instead of beware your neighbor, I'd say thank your neighbor for helping me get the news out about what Scientology is.
Right? Like, thank you. You're
Um,
part of my YouTube history now. Like, you
yeah,
can
there
find
you
him on my
go.
channel.
Yeah. It is amazing. But all of this, this pedophile stuff,
Oh,
this
yeah.
casts this footage into a very different light.
Yeah, I mean,
For
it's
25
nuts.
years, it's been wackiness, and now it's,
Yeah.
oh, geez, you're more
No,
reprehensible than
he's
I
an
thought.
awful human being, and he has been in charge of hunting people. If you blow, you leave
Oh, okay,
without authorization.
sure.
Hunting people down, bringing them back against their will, holding them against their will. And a myriad of other things, which I won't go into because his ex-wife never brought formal charges in the SA department. But the things that, as we were working on a course together, that she would discuss with me, in retrospect, definitely was not consensual. Let's put it that way, even with his own wife.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I
Well,
was trying
I
to
was.
advise her, like, you can say no. Well, I'm married. That's what he said. And I'm like, that doesn't matter.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, he's not a good person.
I had somebody in my life who was a young gal, teenager, when she got married to a much older man when she was a Sea Org member. And then she got declared a few years later, and they were all living in her house, but she was the one booted out, and life was miserable. It was just
Right?
absolutely miserable. Cast them aside. We don't care.
No. Once you're declared, they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. Once if you can't work for them anymore, if you can't pay them anymore, what use are you?
If you can't give them your money, your time, or your life, they don't want you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you're an enemy.
as far as the tactics go, at this point, when I was shooting video in '99, they were willing to come in front of my camera and act
Right.
goofy. I mean, they didn't think they were acting goofy, but within a couple of years, they learned, oh, don't do that in front of
No.
Bunker's camera anymore.
Well, don't go in front of anybody's
Are they still?
camera,
Yeah.
not just yours.
Are
Yeah.
they? Yeah. Are they still behaving that badly? I can't imagine that they're getting in anyone's face who has a camera at all now.
Well, at first, like, if you go back to the original, like, TikTokers that showed up, like William Good, Streets LA, Jessica Palmadessa, the two Chris's, LA Cam, right? Those were like the original people that were there like every night. And at first, they had security guards out there. They were like giving them all these nicknames and stuff. I guess Angel is one of the guys' real names, but they were like talking to them. They were interacting. Angel went so far as to try and like provoke an incident with William, where he basically, they do their due diligence always because they have an entire spy network ring. And so Angel said something to William to the effect of, well, if you'd been a better father, then your son wouldn't have died. Like trying to get William to lose his mind and attack this Scientology security guard. William didn't take the bait because he's been tracking the police now for, so long. He knows that they're trying to, bull bait him and say these things too.
Yeah.
And the other TikTokers like have never taken the bait when they've just said outrageous things. They've interacted a lot with the people that used to be on the street, handing out the flyers, and then they just stopped because they realized two things. A, they weren't going away. So they're not even on the street anymore. B, they don't know how to 2024. Like in the 90s, you were videoing something and then it's like it's contained there in your video camera, right? It was like a different, I have to explain this to my kids all the time. Like, you took a bunch of pictures. If you didn't develop that film, nobody was ever going to see those pictures. It's just on the film. You could throw it away, you could burn it, whatever. But you had your film and it wasn't going to go anywhere until you uploaded it to YouTube on your Xenu TV and you uploaded it to early, platforms that could share stuff and on your own website and things like that, right? So people were like, okay, it's on his website, like, we'll just attack the website and like whatever. But now in 2024, these guys are live streaming. Like we're live streaming right now. And thousands of people are going to see this live. And then tens of thousands of people are going to see it on the replay. And they do not
no
understand
escape.
that. No, they
Yeah.
don't understand it. They just say, like I asked Jessica Pomadessa, like if the first time you went there when Scientology was trending on TikTok, if they had walked out and done like a goofy, like, you know, viral dance to like the latest bop, would you still be doing this? And she's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It would be a different story because they just can't go with it. They can't go with it, you know? And so they did a lot of harassment to you. You're still here. You haven't left, you know? And it's like, they don't get it because the truth is so important. You know, the truth is so important that once you're telling it, you're not going to stop just because they're like, I'm me, get off my lawn.
It's interesting to see the different tactics over the years from our early days when, you know, I was gleefully videotaping encounters to when Anonymous came around.
Yeah.
And Anonymous had hundreds and thousands of people in some of the cities for their monthly pickets.
Yeah.
And they had a spirit of fun about them.
Yeah.
So they would dress up in like naval uniforms or as pirates, and they had the CR. They'd have a theme for their protest every month.
Yeah.
And you can only do that so long before people lose interest. So after 5 or 6 months, the crowds really fell off. But it was something that startled Scientology. Definitely startled me. Now this is a whole new beast. This live
because it's
TikTok,
simultaneous
YouTube.
daily protests across the country and the world. They're like,
Yep.
they don't get it. And the majority of the people are just like you, Mark. They've never been in Scientology. They never paid money for a course. They never, you know, they weren't born into it. They've been watching our content, your content, Jesse, all of the OGs, Spanky, Hannah, like everybody. I'm a Tori, all these people. And they discovered it during the pandemic times because, let's face it, during the pandemic times, we were all like, what's good? I've watched everything on Netflix. I guess I'll go to YouTube, you know, and started like finding out the truth about this because, let's face it, again, cults are hot right now. What's the hottest trend? It's cults. And so like all of this Scientology content is just there. And now people are like, this is still a thing. How is this still okay, I'm going to do something. There's a place here. I'm going to go there. And that's what's happened, you know?
Now, I wasn't unaware cults were a thing again.
Oh, right.
A big concern.
Well, everything from the 90s is back, Mark, including cults.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, in the 80s, it was really nuts because that was the point where TV networks were doing stories all the time about the Moonies or the garbage eaters. I think was one of my favorites. These are folks who abandon everything, give it all over to the leader, and then they would go scrounging through dumpsters behind McDonald's or something.
Oh, I missed that one.
To eat.
Wow.
Oh yeah, well you're lucky. You don't hear anything about the garbage eaters anymore. But
no,
I mean this was the scare, the satanic scare. That all the parents
the satanic panic, right?
Yeah.
I remember that from being a kid. Like it was like, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, really remarkable. You think there's so much going on in the world now, though, that you know, some of these, like Scientology, probably feels they can blend in to society much better now.
That's one thing that Scientology has never done, Mark. I can tell you from being a kid born into it and then trying to, like, I jokingly say, like, Hannah Montana my way through life, because when my mom left the Guardian's office in the 70s, there was a gap time period where we weren't doing any Scientology in my life. Like for a little bit, I went to a Scientology school, and then my parents were poor, so we couldn't afford that in the Bay Area. In San Francisco. And then I went to public school the rest of my life. And so it was always like, I was the freakazoid. Like, you know, people would be like, oh, well, I'm Jewish and we're having Hanukkah, and I'm Christian and I like Christmas and Easter. And I was like, I'm a Scientologist. There's a volcano on a book. Like, you know, And
By
it
the
was
way,
like,
I
it
was
was
watching.
hard.
Yeah, I was watching one of your live streams today with Liz Gale, and
Mm.
I think you talked about. Oh God, it slipped my mind right now. Um, oh, help me out. What were you talking about?
Me and Liz, we talked about a lot of stuff. I mean, mostly just
Yeah.
like proof of life so people could be okay. She's all right. But we were talking about our kids. We were talking about her art. We had lunch.
Oh man,
Talked about her Thai
you know,
food.
when I started this sentence, I had it right there, my frontal lobe, ready to go.
I can't tell you how
It's
many times a day that
fucking
happens to me, Mark. It's all right.
Yeah. There were I remember now. You were
Okay.
talking about the Scientology schools, I think.
Yes.
Uh,
Delphi.
and Delphi, yeah. And you were talking about how they try to get people who aren't Scientology into those
Yeah.
schools. And it reminded me of one of the times I spoke in front of the Clearwater City Council back in the LMT days,
Mm.
because the Concerned Businessmen of America wrote a letter to the mayor and said, we have scoured the country and trying to find the best schools. And right here in Clearwater, you've got the Clearwater Academy, which we consider one of the finest schools in the country. Would you please read a proclamation for them? And here, we've written one for you, if you would please read this. And then once you've done that, could you please send us 3 copies, one for the school, one for our archives, and one for us to put on display? And so the mayor read this glowing thing about Clearwater Academy.
Right.
And then next week, I got a chance to come in and say, well, they just used you. This is how they try to gain respectability.
Right.
Concerned Businessmen of America is a Scientology front group.
Yep.
Clearwater Academy is a Scientology school.
Yeah.
They want you to do a proclamation so they can put it on display. So when parents come in, they can go, oh, look, the mayor loves us. Oh, we're beloved here in Clearwater. When you have you ever gone to the L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibition?
Oh, many
in LA?
times. Many times.
I love it. Now, do they still have the animatronic Turl and Johnny Goodboy?
Yeah. The
Oh,
last time I was there, they
wonderful.
had it anyway.
I'd hate to think any of these things disappeared since I went in there
Right?
in like 98 or so. It was the
Yeah.
most glorious thing. It was the Disneyland of lies.
So awful.
And yeah. Were you able to see that Dianetics film in black and white? Where
Oh, yeah.
There was a volcano in the middle of the floor that would start it, would kind of light up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my God, this is going to be dramatic. I get a kick out of telling the story of how they hired some actor to play Hubbard in this story of Dianetics video.
Right.
But they couldn't
Just
show
the
his
back
face.
of his head. Just the
Yeah.
back of his head. He never
Exactly.
showed his
And
face. It
he
was
had
just
no
in
lines.
his hands. His hands.
Right. There were no lines for the guy. So
No.
there'd be like in Miracle on 34th Street, his assistants would come running in through the office door and go, Ron, look at Dianetics. We got all this mail, and
It's
poured
just-
it onto Ron's desk. And Ron did one of these from behind,
Right. Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, what could be better than this? You don't need Disneyland. This was so much fun. And then at the end, of course, you get to that last room where they have the majestic music and the walls open up and you see all those proclamations.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's
Man,
like,
I
guys,
miss
if you
it.
go in there, the walls go like this. It's like layer after layer after layer after layer after. It's like never ending layers. I think there's like 20 layers of proclamations from all these little cities around the country that they have done this total scam to get L. Ron Hubbard Day and get blah, blah acknowledged and get the study tech acknowledged. And like, oh my God. Yeah. Just insanity.
Well, I mean, they go for the big names too.
Right.
You see a lot of these plaudits at the end of the glorious orientation film. And I think the last one on the screen is President Bill Clinton saying,
yeah.
So,
that disappointed me to no end because as a Sea Org member, we were told specifically not to vote for Bill Clinton. That was my first opportunity to vote for president in 1996. And we were told specifically not to vote for him. And then they became, but then they got JT in there. They got John Travolta sent to the White House to go become, you know, dance with Hillary and just sweep her off her feet. Here comes Grease Lightning. Woo. And then made friends with the Secretary of State at the time, you know, and then got her to tell Germany to back off, you know, famously, which was
sickening.
So disappointing because she was a great Secretary of State. But that was embarrassing.
Hey, why don't we take a look at some of this footage?
Yeah,
we're gonna see Buddy again. There was a 3-day event on L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. No, it's the 4th of July, rather.
I have a story about this day. Go for it. Yes.
Oh well, let's hear the story.
Run the footage. I want to know if you got the footage. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. So there's a street fair, and I thought this is going to be so dull, but I'm just going to go take my camera down there, and I'll shoot a little footage that, you know, I can show. Oh, look, there's people looking at a book stand, and there's a carousel, and that would be it. And instead, I was surrounded by OTs who were bull baiting me.
Yeah.
And through the course of the 3 days, Buddy shows up again as well. So let's try watching day one.
Let's do it.
It's the 4th of July, and Scientology is having a street fair. Everybody's invited.
Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
Hi. Enjoy the festivities.
Hey.
It seems I was expected, because as soon as I arrived, this fellow said into his walkie-talkie, "He's here, south side."
All right. And
This fella came to stop me.
Because the street's closed off right now, sir.
the street is closed off, but it's still a public street.
Do you know who that is by any chance?
I can't remember his name, but he's in PAC security. God, what is his name? It'll come to me later, or maybe if Louis is in the chat, he'll remember. Go ahead.
Okay,
Bill.
great.
Yeah, he was there for a long time.
Street's closed off, sir. You're not wanted here. Why don't we have the police talk to you right now?
But wait a minute. There's a banner right there that says "All welcome."
Well, let's talk to this police officer over here.
All right.
It's above the street. All welcome.
For you not to be here, okay?
All right. Now, I understand that I'm not allowed to come here?
That's right.
And why is that?
Because the street, we have a permit for the street, sir. I'm not going to talk to you while you have a camera on me, okay?
Well, why not?
Because I don't want
I always like acting dumb like that. Well, why?
Good.
Why?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
So put the camera down.
All right, officer.
Yes, sir.
What is the problem?
There is no problem. The problem is
You're manhandling the camera. I won't point the camera at you. Just going to manhandle it.
okay. Now you're
I
saying
mean, you're using excessive force. Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Right.
excessive force.
And why can't I be here?
it's a private
assault.
street.
No, it's not. It's not a private street, is it? This is a public street.
With all the residents, it's closed.
I have the best footage of
I called the
shoes.
police department this afternoon, and they said that this is a public street and that we were allowed to be here.
Good. Not tonight is not. They have a permit and it's closed.
A permit
That's why
for-
they have it all blocked off here, okay? This is a private party. You
Is
do something
this
that-
not open to the public?
Well, they don't like cameras around here.
They didn't like having cameras pointed on them when they came to my
Why?
house to picket me,
Sir,
which
I
is
have
why
no
I
idea.
brought a camera
I
out
have
here.
no idea about your house.
So if I put the camera away, am I allowed on the street?
That's up to them.
It's up to them, but it's a
Yeah.
public street.
But it's up to them having a private party and the street is closed, sir.
It's like arguing with my teens.
I came
Street
to cover
wasn't
the event
closed.
for Xenu TV.
No.
There we go.
What have you done?
What are my crimes, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I have an overt on that.
They're gonna come.
What are you
They're
afraid
gonna
of,
get
dude?
right in
What are
your
you afraid
face.
What are my crimes?
What are you afraid
Don't
of?
you have a team of
What are
people?
you afraid of? Why are you
What am
afraid
I
of Hubbard?
afraid of?
Why are you
Yeah.
afraid of Hubbard?
Yeah,
You know
what is your problem? Why are you
You don't have
I'm not
permission.
afraid of Hubbard. I'm vastly amused by Hubbard.
You don't have permission to shoot me, okay? Put the camera down.
But you're on the public street,
Put the camera
unfortunately.
down.
Yeah.
You don't have my permission.
You
What are
don't.
you
You
gonna
can't
do with
face us without a camera, Mark. Why don't you put the camera
Nice
down and
idea.
face us?
I can,
Familiar with that
face
term?
you. I mean, I'm here.
What are you afraid of?
What am I afraid of?
What? You answer
Look
my
at how
question.
close
Plenty
they
to
get
be
to you.
afraid of.
It's like so
Oh
gross.
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and he'll do what Mary DeMoss used to do as well. He'll peek around the camera so you see him kind of going off the edge.
Yeah.
And when Mary DeMoss did that to me one time, I kept adjusting for her, and we were going in a circle. And we just kept going around and around and around. And as I was filming it, I thought, oh, this is great. And I got back to the office and put Calliope music behind it and called it the Mary Damasco round.
That's amazing.
It's a piece of work. Yeah. So this guy's name is Mark Perkins. And I was actually
is he related to Ellie Perkins?
I don't know. I never thought about
like
that.
Like the Perkins that was murdered by their own kid in
I
New
know
York?
who you're talking about. Yeah.
Because Scientology is the smallest town on the planet. The chances that he's related to that kid, like probably 100%.
There was a guy I was acting in a play with whose name was also Mark Perkins, and he looked a lot like this guy, but I never asked if there was any connection. We did funny thing happen on the way to the forum together.
Oh wow!
And it's one of, I guess, 2 Zero Mostel roles I was able to do, that and Fiddler on the Roof, and I've always wanted to do the producers to get that triumvirate. There's still time.
Yeah.
All right, here we go back.
Answer my question.
But I'm here, aren't I?
What are you afraid of?
You haven't answered my question yet. What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid.
I think
Don't
you are,
you see
Mark.
me here?
You wouldn't be afraid if you weren't doing what you're doing, Mark. You're doing something. It's proof that you're afraid.
Yeah,
you're
that makes
afraid
sense.
Of the success of
He messed up his
Scientology,
pattern.
because people are going to find out your crimes. What are they, Mark? Spit them out. Get it off your chest.
What day was this filmed
I
on?
wish I
July
could tell you.
which?
This was
Well, you
know
can't.
what?
July-
The group stands for nothing but good,
Yeah.
and you're nothing but bad. And we
right.
want to know why, so we can help
Yeah,
you.
please tell me why.
So we can help you.
Scientology
Well, I'm telling
advocates
you why.
total freedom.
You
We are
got
for
something-
total freedom here, and that scares you. You don't want people becoming more aware and more free. Why is that, Mark? What do you got to hide?
Well, excuse me, Dan, but
Murder, perhaps? Something in your closet there?
Yeah, I killed a guy once.
Tell us about it.
As a postal worker back in Wisconsin, Mark Wortman. I chopped him up into pieces and buried him in a ditch.
No, damn it. That's a guy that I went to school with, Mark Wortman, and he had become a postal worker, and his name just popped into my mind.
Oh, how funny!
Hey, Mark,
Yeah, well,
you
you
know
can't.
what?
Go
The
ahead.
group stands for nothing but good,
Yeah.
and you're
Okay,
nothing but
let's
bad.
roll it back just a little bit here.
What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid.
I think
Don't
you are,
you see
Mark.
me here?
You wouldn't be afraid if you weren't doing what you're doing, Mark. You're doing something. It's proof that you're afraid. You're afraid of the success of Scientology because people are going to find out your crimes. What are they, Mark? Spit them out. Get it off your
Now,
chest.
can you pause it for 1 second? I just want to point out
Sure.
to people
Well, you know,
that in the
darn it.
90s, look how many people are here. This is an event they were holding on the street. They had the street blocked off, and there were a lot of people, like at least 2,000 people would have shown up to this event, if not more, probably around 2,500. And those out of the 2,500 people there, and that's like people who aren't in the Sea Org. Like this guy wasn't in the Sea Org at the time. He was just assigned to come yell at you because he was OT, in case you said Xenu out loud.
Right.
But like you can see the people arriving. Oh, and there's Buddy in the background. I see him.
Yeah, and I tell
there's
you,
James
I
back
didn't
there, yeah.
I didn't notice him in the background for 25 years until I upscaled this, and I went, "Oh, look, he's right
Oh,
there."
yeah. There's James just staring you down, trying to look like Tom. He was always, his hair turned into whatever Tom Cruise's hair was at the moment. But he always tried to also have like this 50s swag because his dad was a PI also and ran like a whole PI company. So he would get the shoes and the things, Yeah. Pathetic.
Okay.
Pathetic. Yeah.
Yep. Did Dad marry a 14-year-old as well?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. What are his crimes? Here we go.
I wish I could tell you.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah, well,
you
you
know
can't.
what?
Go
The
ahead.
group stands for nothing but good,
Yeah.
and you're nothing but bad. And
That's
we
right.
want to know why, so we can help
Yeah,
you.
please tell me why.
So we can help you.
Scientology
Well, I'm telling
advocates
you why.
total freedom.
You
We are
got
for
something-
total freedom here, and that scares you. You don't want people becoming more aware and more free. Why is that, Mark? What do you got to hide?
Well, excuse me, Dan, but
Murder, perhaps? Something in your closet there?
Yeah, I killed a guy once.
Tell us about it.
As a postal worker back in Wisconsin, Mark Wortman. I chopped him up into pieces and buried him in a ditch.
Yeah, that's real funny, Mark.
Well, you needed a crime, so check with Mark Wortman, see if he's still alive.
Someday you'll be able to face your crimes.
myself.
Really? Cool.
Did you take time off from beating your wife to come down here?
I must have, because after all, if you speak out against Scientology, you must be
There goes EPFers behind him.
Yeah,
now.
we're giving you too much
Oh,
credit.
really?
We're spending too much time with
Yeah,
you.
the little
You're
kids
not
in the
worth
blue.
it. So
Yeah.
if you want to clean up your act, we'll be happy to help you, okay? But right now, you're like nothing.
Can I come in and
If you seriously
take
want
a
to clean-
personality test now then?
I don't know. But if you seriously want to clean up your act, we can help you.
My
If you're
act's
willing.
pretty clean.
I don't think so.
Yeah, why are you here then, Mark?
came here to
Why are you here
interpolate
trying to
people, right?
interpolate people and upset people?
What's the funny part? Mark?
Yeah, the
What's
funny
the
part
funny
is
part?
that you're
Interpolate.
the funny part.
That's the funny part. That Hubbard makes up words like interpolate.
Why are you afraid of Hubbard? What do you got to lose? What are you
Frankly,
afraid of?
Hubbard didn't make up the word interpolate, okay? It was already in the English language.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you afraid of Hubbard? He knows about you? What are you afraid of?
I believe Hubbard's dead.
That's right. So what are you afraid of?
Well, I mean, I should be afraid of the Office of Special Affairs, I would imagine, since they've gone to the trouble of destroying so many people's lives. Let's take, for instance, Paulette Cooper with Operation Freakout.
Paulette Cooper?
Yes, Paulette Cooper.
She had a life? I don't. What are you talking
Do you
about?
approve of the treatment
Wow.
of Paulette Cooper?
I don't even. I'm not really sure what the. We're not talking about Paulette Cooper. We're talking about you and what you've done.
What have I done?
Yeah. What have
He's
you
not
done?
supposed to
Why
talk
are
about
you here?
Paulette
Enjoy
Cooper.
the event.
Yeah.
No.
I wanted to have a book signed. I wanted to ride on the Ferris
You've
wheel.
got crimes, Mark. Get them off your chest. Are you getting paid to do
Oh, there
this?
goes Shannon.
Someone paying you to upset other people?
That guy's name
the
was
German
Shannon.
government, but you know, you gotta.
These
you
are-
gotta
these
have
are all
international
CC people here,
business
walking
relations
behind him.
nowadays.
What was the status of this guy? Did you do services here at some point?
Yeah, that's Shannon.
You mean in the
He
Sea
was
Lord?
married to
No,
my
I just
friend.
want to know, what your beef
These are all
is.
like little supervisors and stuff.
What is my beef? Well,
Yes.
I think the fact that you harass anyone who speaks out against the church is beef enough.
No. You don't understand. You can speak all you want. Why don't you go speak somewhere else? Why do you have to do it so you're interpolating people who come here for an event?
Who have I
You're hiding behind this camera. You got this
I'm
big.
hiding behind nothing. I'm giving you a chance
Listen,
to state
buddy,
your
you
situation.
can't even look me straight in the face. You're sitting there
I'm
hiding
seeing
behind
you.
with one eye
That's
closed,
you
looking
right
through
there.
the lens.
Okay, I'll open that other
You
eye.
wuss.
Hey, Mark.
We're
We're
done
done
with
too
him.
much
Let's
time
go.
with him.
Later.
Bye. Would you fellas sign my book? Draw a long piece of blue sky if tell you the truth about Hubbard.
Well, I thought I had plenty of great footage, so I was leaving. But then I turned around and saw that my 3 pals were following me.
Boy, you guys are good. You know, I was about to leave.
We're not stopping you.
Okay. It's nice of you to escort me.
Now, Dan's going to burst into action here. I love this.
Dan,
He's
do you
trying
wanna
to tone
apologize
40
for coming
confront
to
you
pick me
here.
at my home? You think it was proper to set leaflets around my neighborhood? Let me ask you this. Jeff Jacobson in Phoenix had picket flyers put around a gig just a few days ago when he was being a DJ. Said that he attacks religions. Why is it that you folks have to say that we attack religions when it's only Scientology that we speak out against?
Why do you attack Scientology?
Because of the criminal activities of your organization?
Good point. Criminal activities. What are your criminal activities, Mark? Because that's why you're here. You've got your own criminal activities you want to hide. Well, spit them out, Mark. That's all you're here for, to
He's
hide
so
your
angry.
own crimes.
He's afraid
This
of being
is
found
He
out.
found an
He's
opening.
absolutely
Terribly
afraid.
difficult way
Yeah.
to hide. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done a poor job of hiding coming
Just
out here.
spill it out. You know you got the crimes. You know you've done things. What is it? Spit it out.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have a PC folder on me that you can cull to find out.
Well, you can make some good educated guesses.
Yeah, what would they be?
Oh, I'm sure you're a child molester myself.
Okay, all right.
See, it's always
He
like,
looks
let's
like
go
to
for
me.
the
That might be
first,
my
you
guess.
know, and I'm sure
Well, why don't
that
you tell us,
guy
Mark?
probably
What
has
are
that
your
exact
crimes?
crime in his PC folder.
Look, the only people that attack the church are people that are afraid of finding something.
It's just the way it is.
Did you
Mark.
understand
I'm
that?
sorry. That's
I
just
didn't
the
say
way
it
is.
quite right.
It's always that way.
You're afraid of having
Scientology
something
helps
found
people.
out.
It helps people. If you're attacking it, then you're afraid people are going to get better.
Yeah,
That's
people
all
are
there is
just
to it.
waving at the
It's
camera.
simple.
Lisa McPherson didn't get better. She died. Lost
Mark.
40 pounds in 17 days because you folks trapped her in a room and kept her on
Mark.
baby watch.
Mark,
Introspection rundown.
that hasn't anything to do with Scientology. People
Yes, it
die
does.
every day. No, it
They
doesn't.
were following the tech.
One person
She
died.
tried to escape. You folks tracked her down at the hospital, dragged her back, locked her in a room under
What have you
24-hour
done?
watch.
What have you done
She
like
died.
that?
What
What
have
have you
you
done?
done?
What have you done, Mark, like that?
I don't believe I've
you're telling
locked
us.
anyone in a room
I think you're
until
telling
they
me your
die.
own crime. Why don't you just give me the details on it?
Have you seen the cockroach-bitten autopsy photos of Lisa McPherson? They're on the net. You can see them there. You'll be able to see them in the court testimony.
Your crimes,
too.
Mark. Your crimes.
How about the
What
crimes
have
of
you
the church?
done?
Why is it that?
So,
Why
can you
is
pause
it
it
that
for 1
you
second?
just can't come
So,
clean?
Sure.
Why is it that you
in a
have to attack
security check, when you told them facts about Lisa McPherson, right? These were all facts, and it is verifiable by anybody if you want to look. The autopsy report is on the internet. The photos are
They're gruesome.
trigger, like seriously, like warning. It is very graphic photos of Lisa McPherson if you do ever find that, and it's unfortunate that that's the way that she's remembered for posterity, because she was a lovely woman who didn't deserve anything that happened to her. But you can see everything that you're saying here is absolutely true, what happened to her. But in Scientology, when you are asking a person a question, any question that you want an answer to, and you give up somebody, what's called somebody else's overt, right? The procedure is exactly what this guy's doing here, is to then ask you, what crimes do you have that are similar to the ones that you're trying to get off for somebody else? Because you're taught in sec checking procedure that any overt that the pre-clear is saying out loud that isn't theirs, they are hiding one exactly like that. So that's why he's saying all these things to you. It's not because he's just like an insane person. I mean, that's part of it. But but that's the Scientological procedure. So he thought in that moment, through his indoctrination, that he is sec checking you. And even though I'm sure knew about the truth about Lisa McPherson, because he wouldn't be able to talk to you if he didn't, he would try and turn it on you. It's Scientological gaslighting. That you're trained in, to put it in like layman's terms, 100%. And then you, as the person who's like, if you were in an actual session, which you weren't, you would twist your mind around to find something either this lifetime or in a past lifetime that you had done similar to that, so that you could get relief, right? Because you wouldn't be let out of that session until you had confessed that.
Yeah. I always just assume that this is an example of always attack, never defend.
There's that too, but it's specific to the sec checking procedure, the security checking that you're trained on, to do that. That's like what Hubbard teaches.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you. We're coming to a close here.
Scientology. Why is it that you have to attack Scientology? Why is it you have to attack
Why don't you
Scientology?
just give it up?
Yeah, what are you
we're so
afraid
much
of?
Bigger than you. Look at you. You're one little wimp here.
That's true.
You're
Isn't
one
it
little
amazing how
gnat.
one little- well, I'm
You're
a
a
large
little
fella.
gnat.
Don't forget
And
I'm
look
a
at the
giant
size of
behemoth
this
of a fella,
church.
but I am
And you know why this church is so big?
Yes?
Because they're clean and ethical. That's why, Mark. And you know why you're so small? Because you're a little dirty gnat with some secrets.
Wow.
And that's all. And we're wasting so much goddamn time with you. We could be having a good time at the
Well,
event.
you should be having.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over there, and you have a good
See
night,
you, Mark.
See you, Mark. Bye.
How about Mary Sue Hubbard's crimes? She was sent to prison. I wasn't sent to prison.
See, and now that you revealed all that stuff on tape
Have
about
fun on
Lisa
the Ferris
McPherson, they had to
wheel.
go, because they didn't want you saying it out loud for anybody else to hear, because that was still very, very prevalent at the time. Lisa McPherson stuff, like you couldn't.
Well, it's day 2 of the 4th of July.
Oh, it started
So-
without
Well,
me.
it's day 2 of the 4th
So you were there
Hold
on
on.
the
of
4th
July
now?
festival.
Come on. I was there on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So
Okay.
we just saw the 2nd.
Okay.
This here is the 3rd of July.
Okay. Okay.
And for many years, the 4th of July part of this saga was not on YouTube, because I ended it with a tribute to Staying Alive. And the music at that point banned that video from YouTube entirely. Now I can put it back up, and they just give the advertising revenue to the copyright owner, which I'm fine with. I'm happy that I have a chance to finally play all of these things that I shot long before YouTube and use
Right?
liberal music in it all the time.
Yeah.
do you have other things to talk about before we take a look at the next?
No, go for it. Play the footage. I want to see who I recognize in there.
I was actually pretty amazed that you see there were a lot of people, but they were down on the other side of the street, and even the people that I encountered, like in this video, you'll see people just going about their business, enjoying their time at the street fair. They don't even notice me, except for the Scientologist making a big scene. All right, here we go.
Festival on L. Ron Hubbard Way, and as the sign says, they welcome me. Dan isn't making me feel welcome by turning his back to me, but that's nothing compared to what they did to Zinj.
They have assaulted me.
Now, what way have they assaulted you?
They have assaulted me by grabbing me, by twisting my arms, they have slandered me too.
What did they say?
They told me I was drunk.
Are you?
Are you drunk?
Why not?
Well, I haven't done my last test recently. However, I don't think I am.
Well, okay. touch your nose with your fingers.
Which one?
Well, we decided to forgive and forget and just enjoy the fair. Here Zinj is talking to a fellow about Dianetics, when suddenly...
Hey, you have no right to film me, okay?
I don't.
Okay, you have a permit? Do you have a permit?
I don't need a permit.
It's not assault, my friend.
It is
it's
assault,
not assault.
sir. What's your name?
Public okay?
What? You know, this is assault.
Just switch it up.
No. Excuse me, but you can't touch the camera.
You cannot be in this property.
Did you call the police?
Yeah, we did. They're on their way.
Good. Have them come out of the way
Well, you get
because
out of here
for
first. You go talk to the police first. Okay?
No, I talked to the police this afternoon.
No, you haven't talked to anybody.
By the way, who is Officer Leonard from last night? Is he here
church
today?
Event. It's a church event. You're disturbing it.
This is the hand guy here. And now it's time to talk to Dan.
Why don't you get out of here, man? What are you doing?
The accent is familiar.
We're coming
French.
to attend the event.
Well,
Dan, it's a public street.
why don't you go home?
That's right.
Hey, now this is something new. I think these guys are squirreling the tech.
So this is the way OTs handle an SP now. By the way, Dan, am I declared SP? Have I been officially declared yet?
Mark, why don't you go home, man? Just go home.
But I bought tickets. So I've got to use the tickets. I mean,
Mark, just go home. Go home. There's no reason for you to be here upsetting people. Just
well,
go
I
home.
think if you assaulted Zinj,
Who's the guy in front of him?
Yeah, bless it. I don't know. He's a Scientologist that,
I
that
got
was
you.
just
He was just
there
trying
to
to
kind of
interfere.
block the camera. Yeah, and you know, the people who are behind here, that's, by the way, Zinjavar, a critic at the time, and he was with me with a woman named Barb. But you look at all the people in the background, they're not paying any attention to this at all. There is one moment when I say something from an upper level that does get a reaction from someone in the background.
We're coming to attend the event.
Well,
Dan, it's a public street.
why don't you go home?
That's right.
Hey, now this is something new. I think these guys are squirreling the tech.
So this is the way OTs handle an SP now. By the way, Dan, am I declared SP? Have I been officially declared yet?
Mark, why don't you go home, man? Just go home.
But I bought
why
tickets.
do you care?
I've got to use the tickets. I mean,
Mark, just
Yeah, they
go
gave
home.
me free tickets.
Go home. There's no reason for you to be here upsetting people. Just
well,
go
I
home.
think if you assaulted Zinj, there's plenty of reason for us to be here. We'll talk to the police. By the way, who is Officer Leonard? Which department is he from? Because he doesn't work for the Northeast Division, which is your precinct here. They have no idea who he is. This is great blocking tech. Is this an official policy of Hubbard?
I think you're getting in my way, man.
Yeah, that's certainly what the video shows.
Well,
What's true for you is certainly not what the video camera captures.
Mark, just go home. You shouldn't be here causing trouble. All right?
I'm not causing
Everybody
trouble.
here
being a jerk.
just having a July 4th celebration. You don't
So
need
are
to be
we.
here with your camera intimidating people. All right?
Intimidating who?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, now he pushed that guy aside to get in your face because he was just like,
Yeah.
he was annoyed by the guy.
Right. Right.
Are you
You're
intimidated?
here with your drunken friend. You know, what are you doing? What do you know? What is this the kind of people you associate with? Just take him home. I want you and him just go home, get out of here, okay?
Well,
quit
can't you
making
use your
your-
OT8 abilities to get rid of us?
See, that's
Simple
him
question.
running
Just,
you.
open your eyes here. What's the deal?
Ben already understands the whole thing. Matter of fact, I do too.
What?
Matter of fact, you don't because they trained you not to. You have a selective filter in your head. That's what
You getting
we're
this
here
on
to
film,
try and
Mark?
tell you.
Of course.
That's good.
Yeah, you deliberately don't want.
Cannot remember that
understand.
guard's name behind you, but he was like,
People understand
I mean, he
that
did a lot of
most
naughty things, but he was
Scientologists
nice.
are very good people with that.
He was what?
that guard that's right behind Zinn.
Uh-huh.
He used to always be on his bike and
Oh.
stuff. Yeah, he was sweet,
Okay.
but yeah, I haven't seen him in years. Roy, that's his name.
Right. Okay. I'm sure there are a lot of sweet people that
Oh no, but they're awful.
are,
Awful lot.
Yeah, but you're drunk. Just go home. Sleep it off.
Breath stinks.
Man, it's like, dude, it's brewery time. Go home.
Time for a bath, too.
Get this on, Mark, you want to put this on the internet? You and your drunk friend came here.
Yeah, did you get
and
to
tried
see your
tried
did you
to
get to
break
see
up the
yourself from
party.
last night?
Mark,
Have you been
take
to
him out
Zeno
of here.
TV to watch it?
Oh, is he there too?
Oh, he's there from last night, yes.
Eventually, they start running out of people.
Well, I'll never run out of Dan. Dan's following me everywhere I go.
That's Dan Martin.
Yes.
He chopped his hair off. He's an OT8.
Yes.
I follow
Oh,
you.
Dan,
I follow you everywhere you go.
please.
Mark,
You're at Borders, you're
Please,
here.
Why don't you eliminate us? You don't just postulate us gone. Come on, show us
guys
some
are
OT8
crazy.
powers.
Kind of weird.
Give us come on,
you're gonna do
postulate
that.
us gone.
You're doing that yourself.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
postulate us gone,
Yeah.
Dan.
You're close enough.
Come on, you're an OT8. Is that correct or is it not?
You're
Are
close
you an
enough.
OT8, Dan?
You're close enough to
Are
be a
you an
guy.
OT8, Dan?
Wow, you're
Are you an OT8, Dan? Are you an OT8? Are you ashamed of it?
Why don't you go home and sleep it off?
Are you ashamed of being an OT8 and not being able to get rid of suppressives?
Aren't you ashamed of being drunk in
Come
public
on.
and causing a scene?
No, actually
It's called
not.
drunk and disorderly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say get me arrested. Come on, let's go. Let's go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Let's go.
Don't raise your voice.
Dan, don't raise my voice with you. Why don't you just,
Did you watch the tape of Dan raising his voice at me last night?
We have
Mark,
transcripts of Dan talking, including with Katie. Katie just loved you. She thought you were.
Dan, you know, I could press civil actions
He's
against
so
you because you did
upset.
illegally block me last night from entering, and this is not a private event.
Well, could I please have the name of
Mark,
this
no
man?
one got in your
This
way
man,
to stop
assaulted me.
You
That's
folks, you folks
This man
prevented me
assaulted
from
me,
coming in. You
including
grabbed the
its
camera.
Conspiracy to commit assault.
Mark, I'm
What
sorry.
is your name?
I don't know
Are you
what
an
you're
OT8
talking about.
too?
A what?
Are you an OT8?
What's that mean?
Well, do you know about Xenu?
What's that mean?
You know about how he came to the planet and blew up a whole planet?
Oh, he's
yeah,
that.
and an island that didn't exist yet.
The guy
And you're an
that
OT8
keeps
because
blocking
you
the camera. I'm
understand
going to remember who
Wow,
he is here
you
in a
must be on
second.
LSD or something.
it. Yeah,
That's
probably.
not
I think,
Les
Helen
Moore, it's his
Hubbard was
brother.
on, what was that? Yes.
Well, at this point, the police arrived, and they requested not to be on camera, so I will honor that request.
I used to do that. I got over that
I
fast.
never, in the last 2 years, quarreled with the LAPD. In general, the upper level of the LAPD, since 2 years ago, is actually very well informed about the people. They've asked us to stay out of the street here, and in my opinion, that's fine. I think we already did what we needed to do. I think it's now time that we do the front street here and inform the public.
No, there's your homie.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I can just
Dan.
answer. I don't have to continue typing now. So I forgot that I should have brought up comments here. I haven't been reading any of the comments, but someone was
Oh, we
just
got so
asking-
many.
Oh, yeah. Someone was asking when this was and where. This was 99 on L. Ron Hubbard Way in L.A. And Clearwater Chad, Daisy Dreams, Kelly Fitzpatrick, all you folks who are here, Bunny Mellon, I think you're talking about Zinjafar there. Zinjafar was a critic at the time that you'd see around L.A. I think he eventually married a Scientologist.
Really?
An active Scientologist, I believe.
What?
I don't know if he ever got a replacement for his tooth, but
oh my goodness.
all right. Michelle and Reese, Kelly, Dee Marie. I'm so glad you're all here with us. When he stares out at you, is he trying to mind control me?
Yes.
Well, good luck. Yeah.
That's him confronting, guys. That's a Scientologist practicing their confront of evil. And they just stand very still. And he was really trying to postulate you away, but it didn't work.
All right. Well, I'm sorry that I have not been paying attention to all the comments here. I appreciate every one of you who have
we'll circle
stopped
back
by.
to them after. Let's,
Okay.
I'm sure there's a ton of them. Just have your mods,
Well,
star them.
So we've got one more day to go. And this is a grand finale coming up here. This is the 4th of July. And
and this was a combined PAC and CC event, right? So we had representatives there from Celebrity Center for all 3 days. And then I believe it culminated in an event, one of the maiden voyage events, right? Which is like the big Haza Gaza on the 4th of July. Yeah.
Squid Fiddler was asking if Dan was a building contractor. I didn't know until I looked him up last night, but yeah, that's what he's been doing.
Interesting.
In LA and now here in Clearwater. So I could hire him if I had anything I needed built. Unfortunately, I don't. Okay, so let's move on to the exciting conclusion.
Let's do it.
Hi, it's close to 9 of the evening on the 4th of July. This afternoon, I went in and filed a battery report against the fellow who grabbed my camera on Friday night, supposedly a police officer, Officer Leonard. And I told the police department that I would be coming back tonight, and they wanted me to give them a call first to inform them that I'd be there, and they would have a couple cops come out and kind of watch it. So that's what I'm doing now. Yes, officer.
And this was so stupid of me. I mean, I went to the police station to say, listen, I'm going to be there. They said, oh, call us. And then when I got there, I realized it's the 4th of July. They're getting so many calls from everyone shooting off guns. And there's no way they're going to show up there.
No.
But I was standing there at the corner waiting for them until I didn't. And then the fun begins.
I am near the Scientology headquarters on L. Ron Hubbard Way, so I'm going to try to videotape a little footage for a documentary I'm shooting. They have not let me down there the last 2 nights, and I know they won't let me down there again tonight, but your department just said have somebody there to enforce the law when I show up. So.
And for all the Gen Z people watching, that's a payphone.
Look at this crowd.
How come you're filming me without my permission?
Because it's perfectly legal. Once again, I talked to the police department.
How come the police officers kicked you out of here yesterday because you're drunk, and you're trying to harass people? How come they kicked you off the street? That's right.
I was drunk.
You were intoxicated. That's the report the police got. That's what I heard. I don't know.
It's very interesting. Are you aware that I've never had a drink in my life?
Okay, I don't know. Right. This is what I heard from somebody.
Well, I have since then.
Go somewhere else and.
Well, you know why
don't
I'm
you
here?
have something else better to do?
Let me tell you why I'm here. I'll tell you why I'm here.
Don't you have something?
It's very simple. Dan Murnin. Dan Murnin came to my home and picketed me. I would never have put up a website if it was not for Dan Murnin.
I'm trying to harass people who are having a good time. Once again, that's my main point.
I'm here because Dan Murnin came into my house this afternoon, pretended to be a friend from out of town, and asked my neighbors about me. Said I was
Take
an
that
LA
up with
Time
him.
photographer.
I don't even know who he is.
Well, bring him out here. That's why I'm here for.
Well, I don't even know who he is. As far as I know, he doesn't work with me.
He's an OT8 that has harassed me several times now, and he should be here. He should come and talk to me about it.
I don't know what to tell you. Why don't you go find him? Show me a picture of him.
All right, let's go find him.
Well, he's not in here. Hey, hold on a second.
We're going to find him. Now, you yourself said that you're not stopping me. You said let's go find him.
That's
let's
right,
go find
hold
him.
on a minute. Hey, hold on.
Hold on what?
And actually, when I was looking at this footage before posting it, Dan was standing out there on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
In the background, and I've never noticed him before. And when I was talking about Dan coming to my home that day, when he picketed me, I was living in a house in the Hollywood Hills, and after that, I moved to an apartment elsewhere in LA, and one of my neighbors said a friend from out of town was asking about you. They wanted to know which apartment you were in. And I said, well, that's odd. No one knocked on my door. I've been here all day.
Right.
And so I invited them over and rolled the videotape back of the incident from the night before. And they said, oh, yeah, it's Dan and that Mark Perkins guy were the two people they identified. And so that's why, I went back to ask them that night, well, why'd you do that? And I came with some material to use a little later.
I don't want to be filmed.
Of course you don't.
I don't want to be
Nobody
filmed.
wants to be filmed.
Well, then get it out of my face, please.
What's your name? What is your name, sir?
Hey, I know you. You're
What
the
is your
guy
name?
who assaulted me before.
There
I
we
called the
go.
police
Oh,
on you.
Here comes
I
James.
called the police on you.
That's
Yep.
They
right.
told you, and you promised the police you'd stay away from me.
That day.
That day. Well, what's the difference? You're coming after me again, aren't
I'm
you?
not coming after you. You
Leave
came
me
after
alone.
me.
You're some sort of psycho stalking me, man. Leave me alone. This is my church. Can't I come and worship in peace?
Are you worshiping tonight, or
Yes,
are
I
you celebrating
am,
the
man.
4th of July?
Don't discriminate against me. It's the 4th of July. It's freedom. I'm here to worship. This is a service. Leave me alone, man.
This is a service.
Yes.
The Jive
They're
is
trying
a-
this tactic again now.
They're parishioners just like
Oh, yeah.
me. Why do you have to discriminate? You're sexist and racist and who knows what else, man. Bigoted. Leave us alone.
Would you please tell me how I'm sexist?
I don't know, but it's just wrong.
But
Maybe,
it sounds good to call me that.
maybe because I'm a married man you're against me or something, but leave me alone. Why do you keep
Yeah, to
targeting
his
me?
child bride.
You just walked
Yeah.
up on me,
Obviously.
and you say I'm
No,
targeting
you walked all the way from over there to me.
Obviously, the only problem you have is, who knows? It's your fabrication, man. Whatever problem you got, but it's
Now
obviously
this
not to
fella
partake
just
in
said
this.
these things, and you're not calling that fabrication?
Hey, look, it's not to
That
partake
fella
in the
just slapped. This fella slapped my camera.
you know,
Oh no, that
I saw
whack
you-
alongside the camera.
you're not here to partake of the festivities. So why
That
don't you
is
go
the
somewhere
senior
else? Don't you have
CS
anything better to do?
Flag
just said-
right there
Oh,
behind
God
him.
have somebody
bless it.
there.
Yeah. I
Service,
got to
leave
get
me
better
alone, man.
at
You're not here to
hitting that
partake
in
pause
this.
button.
Boom.
But
Activities.
What's
Right
his name?
behind him. Boom. Right there. That's
Yeah.
the senior CS flag that was there. Also, you know who
Mhm.
else was there that day?
no.
Marty and Mike.
Oh, really?
They were literally across the street from me. We'll see if we'll see them in the background.
Huh. That's
So why
interesting.
don't you go somewhere else? Don't you have anything better to do
Same
on
thing
the
you
4th of
did to
July?
me. You walked right into me with that camera intentionally. Then you lied to those cops. You walked into me intentionally.
That's right.
That's
That's right. You
Richard
still
buddy.
hurt my foot.
I'm sorry, your foot is still in pain months
No,
later?
I see a doctor
That was
because of
L.
that
Ron Hubbard's.
Be 500-pound man stepping on my foot.
All right.
How
Man,
much
you
you
hurt
how
my
much you-
foot.
320, thank you.
320 plus. You probably lost 10 pounds. You hurt my foot. 330 pounds is a lot of weight on one foot.
So if, by the way, what is your name?
Doesn't
'Cause
matter.
I hate to call you just buddy.
You can call me buddy for the rest of my life. I don't want you to have my name. You'll keep following me the rest of my life.
Oh, you mean the way that that Mark Perkins and
The way you guys illegally arrested me for 45 seconds, holding me so I couldn't move as you stepped on me. Yeah, remember that? I do. Leave me
45
alone.
seconds
Go home.
of
Why do you have
terror.
to come to our church and bother us? Why? Mr. Back in the bus, get out of here. Go somewhere else. This is
All right, I'm going down this way.
going on. Stop being Mr. Prejudice.
Yeah. I can't believe that he's
What are you guys doing on anyway?
saying this is the way to handle
I've got a
critics.
website called
Oh, yeah.
ZNewTV.com where we put up video from all around the world of exposing the
Now, this
criminal
kid is
activities
not
of
OT.
Scientology.
I don't
That's
see
why
any criminal
Richard's
activities.
there.
You show them to me
Well,
right now.
the
You mean the
Ferguson's
little kids
battery,
going
the
on the
fellow that-
rides down here?
No,
You
no.
mean the Ferris wheel? You mean the people playing games? Is that criminal
For
activity?
me, you're here for me.
How about the petting zoo over here? How about the people up on
This
stage?
is like a Brian De Palma shot.
That's right. That's right.
How about the people up on stage? You know, what criminal activities? You know, what are you talking about?
I'm talking.
No. You know, I don't know
You don't wanna hear
what
what
you're
I'm
talking.
talking
Well, that's
about.
right, because I know it's baloney. Because look at these people are having a good time. You can see by their actions that they're good people.
Can we
You know,
call
you
the
can't
police?
deny
I want
that.
the
Oh, I'm
police
not,
to come here.
I'm not saying at all that these people are bad people. I
Oh,
think that
God bless you.
David Miscavige is a bad person. I
Why,
think
you want to
that,
step on him too, just like me? You hurt my foot, man. Why don't you go away? I tell you what, I'm going to call the police, and I'm going to tell them what you did, because this is not the first time.
Well, you know something? You don't have to call the police because I already have called the
Good,
police.
let's
They're
call
on
them
the
and
way.
debate it, because you've illegally detained me one time, and you stepped on me intentionally, without even apologizing. And you even said on your camera, you said, oh, I didn't step on you. You hurt my foot. I have a permanent limp probably. You're a 330-pound man who stepped on my toe. I play soccer. I can't play because of you this whole season. Go away, man. We don't need you to be here. We don't need you to be here. You're not even invited. It's like crashing a party. What's your point? Don't you have a life? Can't you go have a life somewhere else? Can't you?
Thank you. That's great footage.
Jesus, you walked right into me. That's how you walked into me.
Oh, no, you
walked right into me.
You take the camera. You take your hands off of me. You just smashed into him. What is your name?
Ow! Hey, leave me alone.
What is
So you
your
just
name?
Yeah, they're
throws up
holding
the
on
ground,
to
Over
you.
what just happened. I can only see what I'm looking at through the camera lens. What I don't know is to the right of me is the little Weasley guy who earlier slapped my camera and then walked circles around me a couple of times. There's also a couple more guys to the side and behind me. When I turn, I bump into the little Weasley guy.
Jesus, you walked right into me.
He then grabs the camera, and the other people, except for Buddy, race in and grab a hold of me.
Take your hands off of me.
I'm laughing because as these guys are holding me, Buddy is several feet away pretending that I'm attacking him. He continues to do that as I ask the Weasley guy what his name is.
What is your name?
Ow! Hey, leave me alone.
What is your name?
Let's watch it again.
Because they
Can't you
know
go have
that
a
your
life
camera
somewhere
is
else?
not getting
It's not
picture.
on them. Yeah.
Right.
you?
And so they
Thank
can
you. That's
say
great
whatever they
footage.
want,
Jesus, you
and then it
walked
looks
right
like
into
you're recording an assault.
That's how you walked into me.
Yep.
You
walked right into me.
You take the camera.
You take the camera down.
You take your hands off of me. You just smashed into him. What is your name?
Ow! Hey, leave me alone.
What is your name?
So now I realize I've been incredibly foolish in not waiting for the police, so I go to the end of the street to wait.
No way, man. Go away. Go have a life. It's 4th of July. We're celebrating our victory over independence of evil people like you, Mr. Racist Bigoted. Bigoted.
In what way am I racist?
Prejudiced. Why are you racist? Because I'm Hispanic and you probably see the dark skin. Go away, man.
He's the
Go away.
palest Hispanic person on the planet. Yes.
Not okay with me. You're bigoted. Prejudiced.
Because he works in a
Prejudiced.
basement.
This is the 90s, not the 60s. This isn't the South, Mr. KKK. Go away. Go away. Your hood's waiting for you. Go away. Go away.
As the jive ace is playing in the
Leave me
background.
alone. Let me worship
Oh, man.
in peace. Go away.
I hope they're not getting royalties.
Go away.
You're not limping.
Do I have to be crippled for you to go away?
You said you had a permanent limp.
No, I don't have a permanent.
That's what you just said a little,
Yeah, I've
just
got
a few
limp.
minutes
It doesn't
ago.
mean I have to walk with a cane.
Now you're
But you know
limping.
what?
Oh my God, you're
I
limping
can't
now.
play soccer. That's my point.
What about your OT abilities to
Hey, what about
heal
your
yourself?
life? Go get a life, pal. Mr. Prejudice is your name. That's your new name.
You know, you haven't looked
Mr.
into L.
Prejudice.
Ron
Hey,
Hubbard's
by the way,
life.
what is your name?
My name is Mark Bunker. You want my business card?
Yeah, I'd love your business card.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff in my hand. It's zenutv.com.
Hey,
Reaching for my wallet is pretty life-threatening.
I don't know about you, pal. Put this on the
July
internet.
4th.
Bunker is a
.lam.
prejudice. Put that on the internet. Prejudice.
Bunker is a prejudice.
Second Amendment.
You know what I'm
freedom
going
of
to
Because
do?
he has no
do that
education.
for you, by the way. I'm going to put the bigot flyer up there that you put around my neighborhood that says I'm a
Bunker
religious bigot.
is a prejudice.
I will link to that.
He prejudices. Bigoted. Bigoted.
I'm
Bunker
going
is a
to-
bigoted man. That's why he's here.
Operation Freakout was discovered when the FBI raided your church and saw that they had actually planned to steal Paulette Cooper's stationery from her work.
You did a lot of homework.
Yeah, I did. Forge a I didn't have to do a lot of homework because the FBI and the government did all this work for me. And
Yeah,
we
and
just
that's
have to
why
look
the
at it.
buildings are still here, huh? That's why they're still here. That's why we got beautiful buildings here. That's why There's 5,000 people here today.
Well, I believe the mafia is still in
That's
this
the
country,
justification.
That's why there's
Scientology's
5,000
still alive.
happy, screaming children here today.
I'm sorry, how many are there?
Well, I don't know.
How many did you say? 5,000?
Maybe there's 25, but the fact is there's still people here.
Okay, so you're postulating 5,000. All right.
Doesn't matter.
So if I took my camera down there and saw 25.
Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
All right, then I won't. I'll walk over this way. And as you can see, I'm walking way around you, and yet you keep countering to come closer to me. It's the most astonishing thing.
I'm trying to see who's taping
I can't
you.
come over there. Why don't you come back here? Let's talk.
Why can't you come over here?
Because I'm getting tired of standing up. This foot hurts. Come over here.
Just when I think it can't get any better.
You're bigoted. That's the thing, huh? Yeah, you can't have all these people coming here from all their different countries, huh? Yeah, you can't have that. No, I don't think so.
Such an idiot.
Nah, it's just not right, huh?
This
all
little
these
train
people from all over
conductor
the world
camo
coming here.
hat
No, we
on.
can't have that.
These training drills are really
Pretending
impressive.
he's a military person.
You can't have that.
Bring out Dan Murnin.
You can't have that.
Dan Murnin
Look
must
at that,
talk
man.
to me.
Look at all those people.
I demand
Black,
Dan
white,
Murnin.
Hispanic, all here worshiping, and you can't have that. You can't have that.
Richard
Please
Reese is
bring
getting him to
Dan
back off.
Murnin
That might
to
be his
me
son.
now.
Why don't you get out of here,
I
man?
must talk to Dan Murnin.
Why don't you get out of here?
I have
Otherwise,
to see
I will
his face
accept Mark
clearly
Perkins
type
because he
Jesse
came to
or
my
not.
house today
Why
too.
do you got it? Why do you got to have?
Dan
Why do you got to
Murnin, Mark
come here
Perkins, either
and
one of
upset
them.
all these people today?
Or if Mike Rinder's here, I'd love to meet Mike Rinder.
Suddenly, all my prayers were answered. There was Dan.
Dan, it's you. Dan, why'd you come to my house today? You and Mark Perkins came to my house. Why? My neighbor identified you. I just showed him the footage I shot of you. Why are you running, Dan? Please speak to me. Dan, don't be that way. Use your OTA powers to communicate with me, Dan. How about Mark Perkins? Will he come out and communicate? Dan, do you admit that you came to my house today? You don't have to because the neighbor did identify you. Why would you do such a thing?
Now.
Someone, oh God, bless it. Someone asked if Buddy was born into Scientology.
Yes. As far as
Okay.
I know, James, no, well, maybe not. I don't remember how he got in, what his story was, but his dad worked closely. His dad was a PI and stuff.
Somebody
But he was
thought
in-
they
he
might
was
have
in
seen
security
Mike
for a
Rinder
long
back
time.
there, too.
What's that?
Somebody thought that they might have seen Mike Rinder behind Buddy at,
He is
at
there.
some point.
And I can tell you why I know that Mike and Marty were there.
Yeah.
But we'll finish up the footage and then I'll tell you because it,
All right.
it
Well, let's
happened.
skip.
An incident happened before you came on the scene.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is the big trek out to the freeway.
Use your OTA powers to communicate with me, Dan. How about Mark Perkins? Will he come out and communicate? Dan, do you admit that you came to my house today? You don't have to because the neighbor did identify you. Why would you do
I'm
such
pretty
a thing?
sure it's Richard, but I'm sure Chuck and I could debate that.
Hi there.
All right, Chuck.
You know, Dan, I got to tell you that you're responsible for the success of Xenu TV. Okay, we're crossing the street. If it weren't for you coming to picket at my home, I would never have created XenuTV.com. You brought
Yep.
this on, Dan. You pulled me in. And you know what? Because of your treatment of me Friday night, Bob Minton's coming out next week. We're going to have another big picket. Wouldn't have happened. Would not been back here yesterday or today if you had not treated me the way you did. And now that you have come to my home, it just makes it worse. How are you going to handle me, Dan? Can you even talk about Xenu TV in the office because you have to say Xenu? Or are you allowed to say Xenu? Or clear this up. Is it actually Zemu? Jesse Prince, the former second in command of Scientology, says Zemu. Which is right? Dan, you're not confronting me. Hubbard would not be happy. I did a little research on the internet after a conversation Friday. Brought some results with me. You told me that Hubbard didn't create the word interbulate. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
I did research.
Or Webster's dictionary, rather.
Right.
There is no such word. According to dictionary.com, there is no such word. according to rojaysthesaurus.com, there is no such word. The only dictionary that has that word is the Dianetics dictionary.
Yeah,
How do you
just
explain that, Dan?
you know, confronting him with
suppose
word
this is a
clearing
little
tech,
more
Mark. Good
enjoyable
job.
than-
Pass.
Thanks. I have my hands full of material to use against him
Marching
here,
around a pole.
including from his own
Have you ever been sent to the
website.
RPF, Dan? Have you been sent to the RPF over talking to me in the past? Why can't you confront me, Dan? You might
He's
as
just
well
leading
answer
you
me now,
away from the
because I
event,
only
Mark.
have another hour and a half left
Yeah,
of
but
tape in
I'm
the
enjoying this
camera.
footage anyway,
Well,
so I
it's
didn't
on
mind.
Santa Monica
I got-
Boulevard now.
You know, I had gained everything that I wanted to from there.
Right.
And this was actually kind of interesting to have him quietly walking away. And every Scientologist was given CD-ROM at one point in the 90s,
Yeah.
so they can create a website.
I'm a
that put
Scientologist.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, so he had a site up there with his favorite quote and all that kind of stuff. I brought all that with me.
Much more traffic and a lot more light, Dan. Thank you. That does help out. Watch it, folks. This man is an OT8. He can kill you with his thoughts. Whew, you made it by him safely. Beware, don't look him in the eyes. He can give you a death stare. He's an OT8. Saved 2 more lives there. Dan, I want to read to you from my favorite quote. One can at times, like a spinning leaf, blowing down a dirty street. One can feel like a grain of sand stuck in one place. But nobody has said that life was a calm and orderly thing. It isn't. One isn't a tattered leaf, nor a grain of sand. One can, to a greater or lesser degree, draw his roadmap and follow it. That's L. Ron Hubbard. That's your favorite L. Ron Hubbard quote. Did you draw a map for this route tonight? Is that what we're following? You don't have to take them that literally. Also, I know a fellow named Dan Mernon who says his success in Scientology comes from being able to use Scientology in day-to-day living to resolve problems and difficulties. When confronted with a situation that is difficult or otherwise hard to confront, I need only use Scientology information that applies to that particular situation, and it works like magic.
What I don't understand is he's walking towards Celebrity
And
Center.
that was you
walking
who said
away
that.
from PAC towards CC right now.
Yeah, I don't know that he had a goal in mind. He was just trying to wear me out, and
Yeah.
he succeeded.
Please apply the tech and make this situation go away. Now, we are a great distance away. We are at the freeway. Anyone who's been to LA
Yeah.
knows that we're a wee bit away from the org. And here I will leave them because I'm a big fat tubby guy who can't walk anymore. Bye, Dan. Apply the tech.
And says that is a great Richard Simmons joke, Mark. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thanks.
So earlier that evening, if you had shown up around dusk, you would have seen a car wreck that I was in right at the end of LRH Way. So what happened was I was driving my mom's minivan, And I had one passenger because I had been driving people like to the event. And this girl, Jamie, who was in ethics, she was an ethics officer at CC. She needed to go back to CC. So I was like, oh, I can give you a ride. No worries. So we're driving on whatever that street is, Fountain, right back there. And somebody right in front of Bridge jaywalked right in front of me. And I'm pointing at them looking like this, like, what a dumbass. And then all of a sudden Jamie's yelling and I look up and there's a kid on a bicycle, a Scientology, a CIRC member on a bicycle. So I'm thinking, you know, I go into oncoming traffic to try and avoid him. He keeps going. And I stopped and then like my car hit his bike a little bit and he flew up on the hood and then flew back and he's on the ground and Mike, Marty, all of these people were there. And it was just, you got to hang on. We got to kick this person out. I got it. So, yeah, so there was this whole incident. They called an ambulance. He went off in the ambulance. Meanwhile, I get told I have to immediately go back to Celebrity Center, right? So I drive very cautiously back to CC. I am then put on the meter for, I just threw my headphone on the ground, for several hours trying to find out if I'm a CIA plant, if I've been sent there by the FBI. Found it. All this stuff. Now, mind you, I'm a born-in Scientologist. They know who my parents are, but they're like asking me because it happened right in front of Marty and Mike, right? And it was such a huge flap. So I got in a lot of trouble. I did not get to see the Jivases that evening. I was very bummed.
Oh, my Lord.
Because it was swing dancing time. So I was very big into swing dancing. So I was hoping to do some that evening. It was going to be like super fun. James, of course, when you saw him there, buddy, was in his civvies. That's why he had his little hat on and his little shirt, because that was going to be the night where we could all show up in just our plain clothes to have fun, right? It was a fun time because the 4th of July, it was a party. So yeah, I think it's just interesting that like by the time you were there, Mike and Marty were no longer there. Now, Chuck has confirmed that I guess that was Jeff Porter and not Richard Reese. They do look incredibly similar, but I think Richard Reese's forehead is a little bit bigger, or was. He's R.I.P. Richard Reese. He's been dead now for a long time. But yeah, there was a lot of senior executives there for that weekend because it was like the first time we were doing this festival. So it was kind of a big deal, you know, kind of a thing.
Very interesting.
But I will never forget that 4th of July. I was being interrogated for a long time.
Good Lord. So, you know, it's nice that it has memories for both of us. Mine,
yeah,
a little more amusing. But we share a holiday in common now.
There we go. I mean, it was yeah. I mean, I think you had way more fun than I did. I'm gonna be honest.
I did. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah. And as I mentioned in there, Bob Minton saw the gangbang sec check on the 2nd of July, and so he decided he was going to come out to protest here. I'm sorry, in LA, I mean. So I ran around. I had my camera with me, and I was running down Hollywood Boulevard saying, Bob Minton is coming. Bob Minton is coming. Meanwhile, we went to Clearwater. So we were just trying to fake it.
That's amazing.
And we had 3 spectacular days in Clearwater where they tried very hard to come up with a tactic that would stop us in our tracks. And they failed miserably. So
I mean, I just want to say Scientology is freaking about me and you talking right now. There has just been troll attack after troll attack in our comments here.
Hmm.
But that's
Wow.
fine. And the mods are all over it. They're deleting. I'm helping. I'm deleting people. Like here's the situation, Scientology. Mark is amazing. We're all talking to each other. And this is like their worst nightmare. Their worst nightmare is just a conversation like this where we're just like,
Sure.
we're just people and we're sharing the things from the other side. And you were there. And it's like, they thought they got rid of you when you got voted out, which was a sham. It was stupid. You should have won. But the people of Clearwater picked who they picked. That's fine. But I will say this: like every time I run into people like at work or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I used to live in Clearwater. It's Scientology's ruined it." Like they hate it. People who are from Clearwater are ashamed to say they're from Clearwater now because the only thing associated with it is Scientology.
Well, we're known for three things: Clearwater Beach,
right,
the Phillies, and Scientology. And we're very proud of two of those things.
Right. Yeah. And it's just really it's sad. Even when I was there in 96 training, the amount of fingers in the mold there that Scientology had even then was a lot. But now it's like there's nothing left. Except for Scientology stuff.
It is really sad to see the turn that it's taken. Just as soon as I was booted out the door, I really thought we had a chance. It's so much harder now. So much harder because there was supposed to be. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. There was supposed to be what?
Well, there were two projects that competed for the Bluff property. Two developers came in with plans for apartments, retail, and a hotel, all this kind of stuff. We went with Gotham, a New York developer who really wowed us with what they were doing, and they were going to be putting a lot of money into it. The other group that had a design was okay. They actually had a project in St. Pete that each one of us had a chance to go and see. And that developer was just going to clone that apartment retail place on the Bluff. And we didn't go with him, but after we went with Gotham, that second developer said, well, I still want to do the project. And there was another lot like 2 blocks away. And it would have been perfect for it. And so that was on track to bring another 370 people living downtown, along with the 400 in that Bluff property, and a hotel, retail that Scientology would not have any control over. But the person who sold the last remaining properties to Agami sold that property that the St. Pete developer was going to use. So that's dead. And there's really nothing left to develop. There's one guy on Cleveland Street, one block of Cleveland Street, who is trying desperately to be successful. He's opened up this dueling piano bar. Well, you were here for the big party, weren't you? Or?
No, I haven't seen. I haven't been to. I mean, the last time I was in Clearwater was 2015, when I was filming the show that's permanently on A&E shelves with Jamie DeWolf.
Oh yes, I helped with that episode in Clearwater. I think.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. That would have been an interesting show. I don't know how, for folks who aren't familiar with this, at the same time that Scientology in the Aftermath was on, there was another show that Jamie DeWolf was hosting that was supposed to reunite
Reconnection
members. So they're going to have camera crews following around the parents as they tried to get back together with their kids. And for the life of me, I couldn't imagine them being successful at even once.
I told Jamie that. Like he hired me on. I was actually a consultant for the show, and he hired me on, and he told me the premise of the show. We had become friends. We met at a thing, and I really enamored with him. I like him a lot as a human being. I think he's a cool artist. He's very avant-garde. And he's just a very cool guy. Like, I love him.
Yeah.
But, he told me the premise of the show, and he was like, well, I want you to help me to do this because you got your mom out. And I was like, Jamie, that took me a decade. Like, are we doing this? Is this a long-term project? Or are you just like, we're shooting this over a decade? Like, I'm in, but I'm just going to tell you, there's no point where you're going to present a Scientology kid to their parent or a Scientology parent to their kid. And that Scientologist is going to be like, oh my God, I miss you. I love you. Like, it's not going to happen. Even when you confront them with all these things and all this stuff, like, I get what you're going for. And if it were like regular life and this parent had been separated from their kid for like family drama, and then the kid was like, I've been looking for you. And it's like a whole, like moment. It's that's never going to happen. Like, you have to work at this and work at it and work at it. Like, I think it was today, because Aaron's done like 6 lives every day for like the last week. But in one of his recent lives, he mentioned that, that people who are currently in the Sea Org, under the radar Scientologists, and people trying to reconnect, contact him all the time, which is totally true.
Yeah,
and the
I
thing
saw
about
that.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that this is how this works. You start being curious, and then you slowly take in information to strip yourself of Scientology. It is not immediate. Like, the first time I Googled Scientology in the dark of night was 2004, the year my oldest was born. And I was pregnant. It was like 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I had heartburn, so I was like, okay, I'd been thinking about it for a while. And so I did it. And then the first thing that came up was Operation Clambake and Xenu TV. And I was like, what's a Xenu? What's happening? And then, Operation Clambake is like, talk about overwhelm for a Scientologist who's just trying to find out what's what. I'm getting things left. And I was pissed. I was just pissed off, just so like I wanted to flip my table, because I thought, what is all, like, I was mad at you. I was mad at the people making this stuff. I was just angry. Like, who would say all this stuff? And then one thing stood out for me, and it was about the IAS. And it was like breaking down how the IAS is like a total scam and like just stealing people's money, and it's not going anywhere. And I thought to myself about the last event I had been allowed to like go to. And in that event, they had talked about all these things that the IAS had done and the Freedom Medal winners and all this stuff. And I started thinking, I'm in the real world now. None of those things that they talked about are true.
Yeah.
What else isn't true? And that was like the first, for me, deprogramming myself of Scientology. And I started secretly reading, watching your stuff, reading things, reading Tony Ortega's blog, and I had like all these different monk ears that I was trying to like hide myself and tell little stories. And, it becomes an adventure, but you have to like start with the first thing that creates that crack. And it's always different for everybody. Like for my mom, it was, they told her she had to choose between Scientology and me and my sister. And she was like, that's not a choice. Go F off. And she chose us and then lost everything. She still, even when she chose us, she thought she was still going to remain the senior CS Narcanon, that everything would just be fine and people would just understand, like, my kids are off limits. Like, that's just, I'm setting a boundary, and like she lost everything. And she was shocked. She was truly shocked that had happened. And I was like, Mom, I told you that was going to happen, So it just, but she left and she didn't, try to do like ADE or go back or anything. And then it took an additional, that was 2012. It took an additional like 5 years to strip all the Scientology out of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a
rough.
long process.
I did a series of interviews with Karen Delacarrier. And each time I went back to visit her, there were changes. She had just gotten out relatively recently. And she had been married to Heber Jensch, and they had a kid together who was in his early 20s. And at that point, the first interview, she still believed in Hubbard and it was all Miscavige.
Right.
Miscavige is the problem. And then the next one, she was starting to realize, oh, there's some problems with Hubbard too.
Yeah.
And my son, we have a really great relationship. He'll never disconnect from me. And then the next time he had died, and they didn't even let her know.
He was the
Somebody
best
on
man at my
Facebook.
brother's wedding, Alex.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my brother still believes the shore story that they told Scientologists. They told Scientologists that Alex died in bed next to his wife in Houston, and that she woke up and, noticed that he was like cold, called 911, and he had just died. Like he had natural causes, just died in his sleep. And so I said to my brother, who is disconnected from me, this was like one of the last falling outs we had. The last time I've seen my brother was at his dad's funeral, because he's my stepbrother. His dad passed at 96 of advanced dementia, who's never a Scientologist, by the way, my stepfather. But we went to sushi, and I said to my brother, I was like, why do you think that this is true about Alex? I said, why would the Los Angeles County coroner go to Houston to examine a body? And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, Alex's autopsy report is from the LA County coroner. He died here in his in-laws' house. He was, he was having, like, he knew he was struggling with alcoholism, and also at the same time, he had an extreme addiction to painkillers because he had been in a horrific car wreck after leaving the Sea Org, and his back was damaged. And of course, as a Scientologist, you can't go see somebody and get like proper care. So he was just dosing on like whatever oxy, everything else he could get his hands on. And then he was at his in-laws' house because his wife didn't want to have anything to do with him because he was a downstat. And they were trying to help him get a job because he didn't have a job. And they were just ignoring him basically because he was this POS living, freeloader living in their house. He got sick. He got pneumonia. And instead of going to a doctor to get like proper things that wouldn't conflict with his, meds that he was, taking, he went and got like, some NyQuil, and that was like a lethal combination, and he died. They didn't even check on him for 3 days. And then when the dad finally went to check on him, he was dead. But he was like, well, we're not going to do anything about that now. I have to take my daughter to school. Takes his daughter to school. On the way there, calls OSA. OSA comes over to clean, do the brief, blah, 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 blah. Then they finally called emergency services.
Good Lord.
And then of course they blocked Karen from even just saying goodbye to her son. They were waiting at the coroner's office, blocking her from getting in so that she could not grieve over her own child, which is the most horrific, one of the most horrific crimes Scientology's ever committed, in my opinion.
Yeah. I knew none of that information. I just knew that it took her hearing from somebody on Facebook, and then I went and
Aaron told her when Aaron
Really?
messaged her. Aaron messaged Karen to tell her because no one had told her. He wasn't even out then at the time. He was just like, somebody should tell her. This is when Aaron was in his like, I'm just sort of looking phase. I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay out here. And he was like very behind the scenes, but Aaron's the one that told her.
I guess that's why it was never really part of the story at the time, because, Aaron was not a named figure at that point the way he is now.
He wasn't out.
Yeah. And we went out on a boat with her, and she had a ceremony out at sea, and I videotaped that for her.
That's wonderful.
But just astonishing how cruel this organization
it's
can be.
Grotesque. It's grotesque how unbelievably cruel and barbaric they are. They're just they're awful. There's not a people have asked like, why are you so against Scientology? Why you spend this time protesting? Like, I've been going to the Portland org and I make all my videos and content. There is not one redeeming thing about Scientology. There isn't. I mean, like other religions, like Catholicism's got a lot of skeletons in its closet, genocide, homophobia and all this stuff. But I will say this. when you go to a Catholic school, you're going to get an actual education that's worth something, worth the money that you paid for. Number two, they have actual homeless shelters to hand out, food, shelter for people who are houseless. Now, does that make up for their cruelty over the millennia, hundreds of years of shit? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they actually deliver services to people. Yeah. You know, they give back to the community around them, and people in general who are Catholic feel a very strong urge to actually help fellow mankind, just to do it because the Lord compels them, kind of a thing.
Sure. Scientology makes the able more able. And if you're not able to pay them for courses, they have no use for you.
Yeah. They don't want
there's maybe, I think, like 75 chronic homeless downtown. Who has all the empty buildings downtown where maybe you could house some of these folks? Who has the money that could possibly solve this problem easily?
Scientology.
Yeah, they're not interested. That dude from the One Stop Shop, Paris Morphopoulos.
Oh yes, I was on in training with his son.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, at Flag. Yeah, his son was on training, so he would take us in the One Stoppy Shoppy. Aaron and I hung out with him, and he'd be like, "Oh, I could get this if it's free for me, and all this stuff." Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Yeah, I think it was Paris's nephew that actually was running around stealing all my yard signs during the last election.
It could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. The police caught him, and it was a Morphopoulos. And there are only so many Morphopoli in this area.
Yeah, in America, there's a lot of Morphopoli in Greece, though. Just to because they are Greek.
Sure. Yeah.
And so am I. That's why it's okay for me to say that. Also, it's Greek
But
Easter today. So.
Happy Greek Easter.
That's right. Yeah.
The reason I thought of Paris was at one of the downtown development meetings, he was talking about the homeless downtown, and then they didn't want to, make the area more inviting for them. We do too much. It's going to become Disneyland for them. They'll all come here. Well, okay. You have an organization that could do something about that.
Yeah, the whole superpower building could handle homelessness across the entire state of Florida.
Yeah. Well, this has been a fascinating night.
Yes.
I got to thank you for this because, my goal going into this over the last couple of days, thinking, okay, we'll have some goofy little videos to show, and we've gotten into some really fascinating territories that I never expected.
Oh, there's always two sides to it, Mark, but I'm so glad you have this all recorded. It's amazing.
Yeah. There are so many channels, and when I was in office, I didn't have time to follow much of anybody. I can't keep up with Aaron. He's doing so many videos. I mean, I think 2 of them today, but I did go and look at your stuff, and I watched the one you did today with Liz Gale, and I watched the one about why you can't be gay in Scientology.
Oh, that one back from really 2015. Yeah.
I thought you did a great job with that.
Oh, thank you. That was that was a long time ago, Mark. You went really? Way back.
Well, it's right there at the top of the YouTube channel, so it was easy for me to find.
It's suggested now. Look at that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that Leah asked me to do. I called her.
Oh.
I reached out to her. I didn't have her number then, but I reached out to her. And when the Aftermath show came out, and I was like, this is just amazing. I love it. Anything you need from me, what do you name it? And that was 2016, I guess I made that one because I started my stuff earlier, but yeah. And she said, I need you to make a video about why you can't be gay in Scientology. And I always thank Leah for making me make that video because it did 2 things. It allowed me to tell that story in the shortest possible way in a very high quality because it was Leah was going to premiere it and do all these things. I put a lot of work into that.
I thought there were great production value in
Thank
that
you.
one.
That was all me and my ex-husband. We did
Congratulations.
that all ourselves.
Nice job.
It also gave me the final push that I needed to be fully myself and come all the way out of the closet. Like in making that video, my ex-husband, I had a lot of hard talks, and I realized, like I said to him, and I put a post on my blog that I haven't touched in years, but I basically was like, people are going to ask questions after this. And like, let's face it, I'm gay. We can't keep doing this. And we ended up like agreeing at that point to get divorced at that moment. And it was a great catalyst for me to live an authentic life, to live just the beautiful life I have now, so I'm always grateful for that moment of being asked to, tell my truth and really start living it because of that, no regrets. No regrets.
Yeah, I think that video is probably very important to a lot of people.
I've
Just
gotten
explaining
so
it.
many emails, letters, phone calls from people who just were like, me too, like I was in there, and I'm so glad you said all this, because I've never been able to like explain it to somebody about what happens inside Scientology when you're gay. And it's really rough. It's really bad.
When I was going around the country shooting interviews for a documentary that hopefully someday will get finished, Michael Pattinson sat down and told me his story, and
R.I.P. to Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, what's interesting about Michael is he went full circle, right? He was being used by the church as the like, I'm gay and it's okay, and he used to just come out and just nail people to the wall with Scientology. Like, I'm OT and I'm gay and it just was like this little attack dog, until one day he realized, oh my God, like this is a bunch of BS and they're using me. And he tried to stay for a long time. He tried to like be cool with the church.
Sure.
And then he realized they don't like me. They are the worst. And then reversed it, and I mean, he still talked about I one day I hope Catherine Bell also pulls a Michael Pattinson and, comes out of the church all the way. Would be great. I mean, she's married to a woman, that's not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. She and Brooke, her wife, both left their husbands for each other. They're both Scientologists. Brooke's the second gen.
Okay. Nice. Was she, I think I may be confusing her with somebody else. Yeah.
She was the one that was on Gag.
That I knew, but for some reason I thought immediately of the love interest in Star Trek 4, the one with the whales. There's a modern century woman who was involved. I can't think of her name now, but I was kind of envisioning her. So anyway,
yeah. This is amazing, Mark. We got to do this again for sure.
Yeah, and I have to get together with so many more of the folks out there who have been doing great work. There's a ton of people to meet and stories to tell. So
yeah,
thank
and you got to
much
give these guys
for joining
pointers
me
on
tonight.
talking back to the people when you're protesting. I thought what you did was fabulous. I mean, you could hold a little clinic.
Yeah, well, I always felt it's best to let them look goofy instead of me. So there are folks who will go out and shout and scream and
I just try to have like
give people
honest
a hard time.
conversations with the people and let
the best.
especially people that are like my mom's age in their 70s, like, hey, you should be retired now. It's okay to retire, and like you don't have to work until you die. Like, and I'm sincere in that. Like, please, like if you need to ride somewhere, I have a functioning car. I will take you, wherever you need to go. So
okay. I was looking to see if anybody else had anything here, because I've been ignoring.
Well, there's 5 starred comments. I think these are starred comments from my channel. I'll just pull it up here. So I can't. So may the force be with you. Gifted 5 memberships. Twice did that. Thank you. Cheryl Autry is a new member. Blake Reed did a super chat that's towards you. It says, Mark, I'm so sorry, but your top lip is perfectly contoured, and I just have to state how satisfying it is. You're getting a mouth compliment, Mark. And Karen McAllister did a $20 super chat. I love this conversation. The old footage is amazing. Mark and Nora, you rock. So there you go.
Well, wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. Thank you, Nora, so much, and I hope we can do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, you have a great night. Bye. Xenu TV now ends its broadcast day.